On this account, we have unlimited money and we're crushing all our rivals with money, gems, and buying without even looking at the price. If you ask why I'm wearing glasses now, is it because I'm an idiot? No, just kidding. It's because when I play with the poor account, I won't wear the glasses, and because I'm an idiot. The craziest thing is that the rich account, after climbing more than 3,000 trophies, we still haven't lost a single match, getting 3 crowns against 99% of our opponents. So literally, we have one of the strongest accounts in these arenas. Meanwhile, the poor account fights for every trophy as if it were a world final. The experiment is pretty simple. Start at the same time, but with 2 opposite ways of progressing. How much difference will money make in Clash Royale? Let's find out, starting with the rich account, a day where everything can change for this account. Because we're just 1 trophy away from Arena 11, and Arena 11 isn't just any arena, it's where legendary cards start to appear, like Inferno Dragon, Mega Knight, Lava Hound, or Sparky. They're some of the cards that, even though we don't need them right now because we have a very strong deck, getting them could help define the future of this account. But before we gain that trophy, we have to do what hurts the most, make the wallet suffer. So, Jazzy7 from the shop. Guys, did you hear me or not? Did you hear me? And the thing is, my bottleneck right now is pretty clear. Gold and epic wild cards. Without those, I can't progress any further. My deck is mostly made up of epic cards. That's why we went straight to the Supercell store. Every purchase here will give us more items, more value, and more advantage for the rich account. So we bought the gold and epic wildcard offers, and before paying for them, obviously Josie7 here were Giga Chads. Once claimed, we get 1,000,000 gold added to the account and a lot of epic wildcards that we use to upgrade. The skeleton army and the spear goblins are totally secondary support and defense cards in our deck, but it raises the average level of the deck, making it harder to beat and stronger on defense. I also realized that I wasn't taking advantage of the 12 evolution slots we have, so I also bought the Evo Witch. Poor wallet. Now, while we have an ultra strong deck that's been performing perfectly, and with these 12 evolutions, it will literally make 1,000 opponents tremble. You wouldn't know what's missing. Not with this deck. Instead, I'll make my life difficult for no reason and play with a completely random deck, because here, we just love to make things complicated for ourselves. The deck that Supercell will send us to fight our last match with, totally optional. By the way, it's a kind of giant deck. Goblin that's actually pretty good, and to make things even spicier, we won't upgrade any cards. We're gonna suffer. Damn. You're aware that we're in the last match of this arena, and we have a totally horrible deck, right? Well, apparently my opponent's deck is horrible too. We start with a good Electro Spirit, well defended that Electro Spirit. We'll use this Goblin Cage to tank those skeleton dragons since I don't see any other use for it. It's literally level 4-4, and the Electro Spirit is simply our wild card for cycling. Look how weak these cards are, man. Incredible. Our only way to win this match is with our evolved cards and the opponent's fireballs. We take advantage of our evolved cards to support them with a good Dark Prince who will act as a mini tank and damage card, along with some good arrows to deal a lot of damage to their tower. Even though I thought I wouldn't have room to use fireballs since it's at the minimum level, it's going to be an excellent option to defend against this goblin barrel for just 1 more elixir. I'm a genius, and here it's also a good option. We're making use of a level 1 card. I'm a genius, my friend. Such a genius that we're losing a match with just 10 seconds left before overtime. Incredible! But you know what's even more incredible? This guy's fireballs. Guys, let's make the most of our last big push with double evolution. It's now or never, guys. It's now or never. Guys, it didn't get anywhere. It didn't get anywhere, so now we have to defend. With a good goblin giant distracting those dragons, skeletons, and a skeleton army for that miner, the goblin giant has been really important in this match. We're using him both on defense and offense. Without him, we'd probably already be lost. Now that we have him evolved, we're going all out on the attack, because if we don't attack, how are we going to win, right? God, those fireballs, man. Come on, goblin giant. If we win this match, that's great. And now, even though we had reached the arena, which would open the doors to stronger cards for us. And this, at first, seemed like it would forever change the way this account progressed, but I was somewhat mistaken since the progress remained very linear. I started playing in this arena with a deck that, although improved and with the evolved witch, was still the same one we had created. In Arena 9, this didn't make it obsolete, not at all. In fact, we still had a big advantage over our Arena 11 11 opponents and some opponents who were very unusual. Our journey in this arena began by facing a classic giant double prince deck. Even so, we won easily. Then Fireball, Bait, a pretty easy match, a Log Bait, another Log Bait, and X-Bow. A very strange deck pattern, as if we were playing at 10,000 trophies. My first matches were only against classic and well-designed decks. This made me doubt, and I quickly discovered that they weren't real people, they were bots. I had to go through half the arena to face the first real person in Arena 11. I thought that after that match everything would change, but that's how my whole journey through Arena 11 was. Probably 9 out of the 12 opponents I faced here were just simple bots, with the mind of Patrick Star. But wait, I'm not complaining that I faced opponents with perfectly structured decks, but with the average intelligence of Patrick Star. For me it's perfect, because in 30 minutes we were already in the next arena, where we arrived at Al Auke. Today we're at about 30% of the game's possible trophies. Yes, we were still a bit low, but each time the difficulty of the matches is a bit higher. And even though I didn't have to think so much about the matches, since my deck is literally designed to build a push and win, that's exactly what started to fail. Before, my opponents couldn't withstand even a simple but powerful push. Now I had to do it several times per match, making getting 30 trophies something hard, right? To the point of fighting matches, that still doesn't happen. There aren't any close or hard-fought matches yet. It's just that my opponents having access to higher power cards and generally higher levels made winning by 3 crowns not something so trivial. And even though bots kept appearing, actually about half of the matches in this arena were against them. Was something different happening compared to the previous arena? Even though they were still using meta or classic decks, they no longer had the mind of Patrick Star. And what if they were smart enough to use them? They even made my matches harder than matches against real people. And so, after an hour of playing, we reached the arena. Arena 13, 4,200 trophies. For the first time, we doubled the trophies of the poor account. That already gives us a clue about what money can do in Clash Royale. The poor account was already falling hopelessly behind compared to the rich account. And not just compared to the rich account, but progress in some situations was becoming more complicated, and we only had 1 hour of progress ahead. I practically needed a miracle to face Arena 7. And almost as if Daddy Supercell read my thoughts, I got 2 P.E.K.K.A.s in the first chest I opened, allowing me to restructure my entire deck, and with it my way of playing and facing matches. Since this account began, it has focused on the giant. And now, with another tank in my card collection, my deck went from revolving around elaborate giant attacks to a selection of cards. Cards that simply work well around the P.E.K.K.A., since I consider this card to be very important and decisive in these arenas. I started by proving that my theory, which made the P.E.K.K.A. the core of the deck, was a good choice. A match where a well-supported P.E.K.K.A. practically opened up the game for me, and although we won almost entirely thanks to the P.E.K.K.A., it wasn't enough proof that we had found the key that would get this account out of the hole it was stuck in. So I kept playing, and in the next match I realized that maybe I had underestimated P.E.K.K.A.'s potential. Even though it's an excellent card, this time the one fully responsible for the victory was the Witch. As I progressed through Arena 7, I realized that we had found the perfect deck to advance in this arena, for the first time since Arena 1. Literally, we had strung together not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 straight 3-crown wins. Something historic on this account that had been struggling for every trophy in previous arenas. It didn't matter what win condition we faced, or what defenses the opponent had, or even their card levels. Our attack became so strong that no one was giving us any competition until the 7th match. After climbing 200 trophies in this arena, we faced an opponent who had a very interesting defense against our deck. Not because he was good, are there even good players in Arena 7, but because he was very defensive. Even so, we won, but our streak of winning by 3 crowns had ended. And after a very easy match and another one that was really tough, we were in the game that would take us to the next arena. We started off seeing a level 11 mini P.E.K.K.A. from our opponent, the highest level card this account had ever faced in its entire history. But the opponent's skill didn't match up, and a series of mistakes let my P.K.K.A. put me ahead 1-0. I kept up the pressure, a pressure that our noob friend couldn't handle. And And just like that, we were in Arena 8. A historic achievement, since for the first time after the lower arenas, we had moved up to a new arena. At the same speed as the Rika account does, we were finally breaking the huge gap between the rich account and the poor account. We were pulling it off, and this motivated me to keep playing. Already in the first match in the new arena, against an opponent who seemed pretty weak, he was very defensive, making the match end in regular time. I shouldn't complain about losing a few seconds since we were doing well overall. We had a very strong deck and we were advancing through the arena in record time, so I kept playing, but our opponents were no longer the same. Those times when we won by 3 crowns had already disappeared. Even though it was literally just 20 minutes ago now, against different opponents, you could feel the difference. No joke. The matches were much closer, and the opponents had a real chance of taking down my towers. And either because of their mistakes or simple greed, they didn't manage to pull it off. Also, new cards started to appear, like freeze cards. They're really good. Well, if you didn't know how to use all the cards, but that doesn't mean that in the right hands they stop being dangerous. We also faced the first giant skeleton, a card that isn't that good by itself, but it's very dangerous, especially on defense, which is its main role with its bomb that wipes out any attack. And if it reaches the tower, it becomes a really good win condition. The problem is that against good players, it rarely does, and I'm not a good player. Yes, that's exactly how I lost the first match of the day. My spirits didn't drop and I kept playing, winning the next match with 3 crowns. And even though it seemed like everything went back to normal, it was just a brief spasm from a dying deck. And in the next match, Daniel gave us a majestic beating, sending us straight back to the lobby to reflect on what we were doing wrong. And 16 freeze cards were the perfect excuse to take those ugly goblins out of my deck. And even though in the next match we faced a very heavy deck, having the new card in the right hands increases the power of any deck. Nah, not really, but a lot of people don't expect you to have freeze, so it delivers the finishing blow in a lot of matches. This gave us the surprise factor our deck was missing, although time ran out and we ended up like this trophies away from Arena 9. A very similar day for both accounts, where one advanced 800 or 500 trophies, which is pretty wild, but the poor account wasn't far behind, advancing 500. But the important thing is, what kind of opponents did each account face? For some strange reason, the rich account faced around 70% of the matches. Against bots, yes, with good decks and good level, but in the end, predictable bots. The poor account, on the other hand, faced probably 100% human opponents and still managed to impose its playstyle. Well, let's see. So that's it. Here's today's video. If you liked it, subscribe. It helps me a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.